You beauty! Chelsea 3, Barcelona 0 in the Champions League, mate. Those Catalan boys came to town and we slapped him up something silly. The gift from God, from Deus, obrigado, Estevao Willian scoring an absolute wonder goal. Chelsea set up perfectly for an absolute masterclass against Barcelona. Even if Araujo got 2 yellow cards like in quick succession, he was scared about the Chelsea test. It doesn't matter because Chelsea was set up perfectly against Barcelona to not just, get in behind the high line, but just to absolutely not give them a sniff either. The high press, the defensive tactical acumen was incredible from Chelsea. What a performance. What an absolutely incredible atmosphere. Credit to everyone inside Stamford Bridge, tonight. And it created an amazing atmosphere. Wow, it looked really special. An incredible tifo as well. Put out King of Clubs. Freaking love that, man. What a night. What a performance. I'm absolutely gassed. I am buzzing. I can't believe I've lost my voice a bit just from screaming in my living room. It was the perfect night. It really was. You got the Estevao, the wonder goal. You got a 3-0 win. It was a red card from Araujo, but he was being absolutely taken for a walk by Cucurella. Cucurella was magnificent. He completely locked up Lamine Yamal, second in the Ballon d'Or. This game was being billed by everyone, myself included, Yamal versus Estevao. And, of course, Estevao scored the wonder goal, absolutely incredible. But he's got a lot to thank his Chelsea teammate, Marc Cucurella, who locked down his international teammate, Lamine Yamal, because he made the comparison even more stark. Wonder goal versus completely locked up by Cucurella. He's the player of the match on SofaScore, but there were so many incredible performances. Captain Reece James in midfield. I thought Enzo Fernandez was magnificent yet again. I thought everyone played incredibly well. Rob Sanchez in goal. Played some beautiful long balls, and it's just so happy. And this feels like a moment in the same way the Club World Cup was a huge moment to feel like Chelsea again. After being in the trenches of turbulent times. It feels quite cathartic. Because the Club World Cup, it was an amazing achievement, and I think history will look back really positively on that because of who we beat in the final. And I think as years go by, that will be seen as more and more of a high-profile tournament, and they'll look back at Chelsea winning the inaugural one as such a hard opponent in Maresca's first season. History, I think, we look really positively on that, as it does now, but it will get more potent. But this is just a moment, we're back in the Champions League against Barcelona, the old enemy, UEFA. And early doors, man, they were blowing up for all, the slight touches on the Barca players, and we got hacked a few times. Early doors, I thought I was getting frustrated because we're getting goals taken away. The ref was blowing for everything for Barca and not Chelsea. And I was like, well, this feels like the old enemy, UEFA. I don't like how this feels because we're playing well and we're not getting the rub of the green here. But it all fell into place, mate. And it feels like a cathartic moment of, yes, we are good. We are good. We're back. We're back. Man City lost 2-0 at home to Bayer Leverkusen, which is hilarious. But it's like a further reminder that, it's going to probably be up to Chelsea to stop Arsenal, which feels like a lot. But we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about Europe. And, when it comes to Arsenal cannot sit at the table in the conversation when it comes to Europe, because that is Chelsea's game, provided, Liverpool and Denman not on the table. Anyway, welcome back to Football Therapy, the 200,000 subscriber plus channel. Please do consider supporting by liking and subscribing. You're all welcome, of course. Hype the video up down here because we've just slapped up freaking Barcelona. If that's not worth your YouTube hypes, and you all have them, you just got to look down the bottom under the comment section. If that's not worth your hypes, then nothing is, surely. Let's look at this. Right, so we set up with Rob Sanchez in goal. By the way, I completely nailed I think the cat wants to go in. Do you want to go in? No? Okay. She can stay out then. I completely nailed this lineup, by the way. Except the striker. I think I said, I think I had, what did I have? Yeah, I rested Neto because he played so much, so I thought Neto was going to be rested, and I thought Joao Pedro would play. But other than that, I nailed everything else. Gusto at right back, Reece James partnering Caicedo in midfield. I had Trevoh Chalobah at left centre back, Wes at right. So I'm pretty stoked with myself, but not as stoked as I am with Enzo Maresca. Enzo Fernandez, let's look at the heat maps quickly. Enzo Fernandez as a sort of left pocket, Reece James sort of defensive right, a bit more central there, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen there. So Estevao, he must have been like a proper right winger. Yeah, there you go. Touchline coming inside sometimes. And I bet before clicking on it, Garnacho was just holding a very narrow left width. There we go. So a lot of the time his heat map is literally just this bit here. And that's, yeah, so that was the shape. Cucurella absolutely locking down left back, and then Gusto playing as right back, getting less touches, of course, because he came off at half time for Santos, which saw Reece James go. The Mia's got friggin' zoomies in the hallway. I can hear her smashing into stuff. Yeah, Santos came on at half time, which saw Reece James move to right back out of midfield, and then Santos, went into the space that's vacated. Let me see if I can get this cat in. Wait, where are you? You got the zoomies? I'm trying to speak to YouTube. This cat. Yeah, man. So, look. Chelsea were all over Barca, yeah? Let me okay, let's have a look at the attacking momentum meter. So the red card is at the very end of the half. Look at that middle third of like pure dominance. And even like in between Chelsea, we were much better than Barcelona. We were all over them. We were worth the goal, even if it was an own goal. I think we had 3 goals disallowed, and we scored 3 goals. So we had the ball in the back of the net 6 times. That's just a sort of indicator of how dominant this was. Yeah, some of them were like close offsides or whatever. But to have the ball in the back of the net 6 times, shows you, yeah. So Koundé, it's an own goal in the end in the 27th minute. It's excellent work from Cucurella. I think also, is it Garnacho or Neto or Fernandez? I don't know. They all played so well and they were often in the box. It was like a mix-up between, was it Ferran and Koundé? But it ends up being, a ricochet, and Koundé sort of hooks it in accidentally. But we're well worth the goal. We should have scored 1 or 2 by that point. Raul gets booked for argument on the 32nd minute. Oh, silly boy. Gusto gets a professional foul in the 40th minute, pulling his man back on the break. He'll be fine. I think he also got a bit of an injury. Maybe he knew he was coming off at half-time. So on the 40th minute, it's not that much of a risk to pull your... I was going to say something very inappropriate there. To pull the opposition... No, that's just... We're not pulling anyone off. Right. And then Raul basically... Cucurella takes him to the shops, and he absolutely clears him out super late. 12 minutes after getting booked. What are you doing for an argument? It is a stone wall. It's the most yellow card you will ever see. Most obvious yellow card. He doesn't even protest. He's like, oh God, see you later. Walks off, and we're a goal up. We're a man up. But more pertinently, we've got their number. We're cooking them. We're absolutely dominating them. The goal up and the man up is great. But I'm so pleased because Chelsea have got their foot on the throat of Barcelona at this point. And that for me is the moment. Well, not the moment. That's the main thing. If you want to talk about a moment, second half starts. Santos comes into the... Santos nearly scores, doesn't he? From an offside from Dilap, I think it is, really early doors. Rashford comes on as well, so they make the change. And apparently Reece James assisted Estevao, but oh my word. The gift from Deus, from God. Estevao Willian. It's the same goal he scored against us for Palmeiras in the Club World Cup. He just dribbles. He's got this unique ability to just... The ball doesn't leave his feet when everyone's making tackles. And it's weird. It's not like Eden Hazard, the way he's sort of like I don't know. It's not like it's less graceful. It's so hard to explain, but he somehow jinks through people and just lashes these finishes from such an acute angle against Barcelona in the Champions League, and he's a teenager. This is we all know about this, Chelsea fans. We know about Estevao. We watched him for Palmeiras. We all were seeing the stats. He's broken all Neymar's records in Brazil. We know now he's Ancelotti's most important attacker over the likes of Rafinha and Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo. He's relying on Estevao to take penalties for them because everyone else misses them. We all know this, but this was the moment where, because it was, you remember the Club World Cup final? It was all Cole Palmer versus Ousmane Dembele, and everyone knew Ousmane is probably going to win the Ballon d'Or over Yamal, actually. And, they were both being photographed on that, fake girder thing in New York, and it was the big promo thing. It was, Palmer versus Dembele, and everyone took the mick out of Chelsea, you've got to put Palmer up against Dembele, is that all you got? And then Palmer just absolutely cooked in the final, one man of the match in the final, one player of the tournament, won the trophy. It's similarly I know this is not a final, but in the same way, they're billing it, Estevao versus Yamal, and this is what makes it so much sweeter. As soon as he scored, the camera just panned to Lamine Yamal. Yes, director. Yes, that's what we want. Well, we want to see Estevao celebrate, which we did, but this is it. This is the theatre. This is the juiciness. And again, this is the moment where people go, oh, Chelsea have got an absolute superstar here, and he's only just got here. Oh my God. Absolutely incredible. I thought he'd start this game. I thought it would be a good game for him to play, and it proved that. We'll see if he plays, he will play against Arsenal, but we'll see if he starts, because it will be a very different game. It's not going to be Hansi Flick's high-line European football thing. It's going to be a lot more robust, so I think it might be another situation with Delap and Neto and Estevao off the bench. We'll speak about Neto as well in just a moment. But yeah, man. So we see more changes. Garnacho comes off for Delap. Delap comes on. Lewandowski comes off. Rafinha returns to the side. Didn't even see ex-Chelsea player Christensen come on, but he came on. He'll only know Reece James in the squad anyway. And Enzo Fernandez, who I thought was absolutely superb, plays in. Liam Delap scores a great finish. 3-0 at 73 minutes. And at this point, I'm thinking, well, we're going to score much more goals because it's 3-0 at 73 minutes. But I think Maresca, he puts on Gittins, Champong, and George, takes off Neto, James, and Estevao, three amazing performers in this game. And, he brings on Gittins for Neto. Neto's absolutely knackered. He did that amazing run, Pedro Neto, all by himself. He's got these lungs, Neto. At the end of the game, he's been pressing and tracking back all game, where he can still pull away. Who was it? Was it against Cucurella? I think so. And he absolutely just burned around him, and he's been running so much, and then he just about, he forces a corner in the end. And Enzo Fernandez just grabs Pedro Neto and, hugs him, yes, this is what we want. Just an absolute testament. It basically personified the performance. No one was doing anything for themselves. I think they said that on the commentary on Amazon Prime. It was a team performance, but that wasn't a glory moment because there was no obvious pass. He was like, well, for the team, I'm just going to absolutely bust the gut here. And runs. So at that point, he takes off Neto with 15 minutes to go to bring on Gittins. So obviously there's a rejig in the front line. And quite a nice moment because they're besties, Tariq George and Champong, who of course he brought in to the first team last season. Maresca, he gets to bring them both on at once. This is Barcelona boys in the Champions League. Obviously, it's a case of bringing on the kids because we're ahead. But still, they're still very young. I think they're both teenagers, or is Josh 20 and Ty's 19? They're still very young, these players. And he's like, go and play against the Champions League. And I think Josh Champong plays in midfield, possibly. I'm just going to check or right back. I think he plays right back looking at his heat map. And yeah, absolutely sensational. Sensational from Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. Yeah, man of the match, player of the match is on by SofaScore has been given to Marc Cucurella. I'll find it very difficult to disagree because he locked down their biggest threat, Lamine Yamal, didn't give him a sniff. Cucurella, and I'm not sensationalist, hyperbolic kind of guy. I think he's just the best left back in the world. You know, what do you want to talk about? Nuno Mendes? He got cooked in the final against us, where Cucurella won. I'm listening. Like, bring forth your candidates, mate. I genuinely, you'll have Arsenal fans that say Calafiori, but like, who's a great player, but he's just got nothing on. Marc Cucurella is a Club World Cup world champion. He's a champion with Spain. He's doing stuff like this to Lamine Yamal. Last season, he scored loads of goals for us. He's played at left back, central defensive midfield, left number 10. He plays in all different kind of roles for Chelsea. He's just insane. But everyone deserves a mention. This is one of those games where you could reel off everyone. Rob Sanchez in goal, great, incredible. I mean, I'll say it now. We got lucky with their one big chance they had with Ferran, who was through. Sanchez wouldn't have been able to save if he finished properly, and he put it wide. It was a sitter. It really was. Like, I'm going to look at because that was their only chance, and they got 0.79 XG. I reckon that was the Ferran shot, basically. I think it was Ferran. Correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't Firmino, was it? I think it was Ferran Torres. So let me just quickly see what his shot XG was. Yeah, it was him. He had the high value shot. I mean, Sanchez wouldn't have been able to do anything about that. But he played a couple of great long balls. I think, we can wax lyrical all day about Cucurella. Trev and Wes, really, really good. Gusto, good. The midfield of Reece James and Caicedo, I called for it. We got it. This is it's so robust. It's so robust, and they can play as well. Caicedo will absolutely break down the opponent. Reece James can also do that, but he can play. He'll move forwards. He'll play beautiful passes. The attacking quadrant of Neto. Neto got a low rating, but I think it's kind of unfair. It's not a fair reflection on, the selfless play. Neto has been great for Chelsea. Fernandes, I mean, I feel like when he and Reece James are on the pitch together, they've got such a great relationship and good, footballing chemistry. Like, look at how they interact when, Reece gives him the armband. I feel like we genuinely have two proper captains on the pitch, and it's taken time. It had to be cultivated. It had to grow, and it's grown, and it is growing. Like I said, before he became captain, despite adoring him, I had reservations about Reece becoming captain. I've completely lost those, and I think Enzo Fernandez is an excellent vice captain. Together on the pitch, the leadership is just superb. And Garnacho, again, he did some good stuff. He's been good. You can see why Maresca wants him to be this sort of outlet, this first choice. Gittins will have his chance given his time, and Neto as well. Certain players like Joao Pedro, well, mainly Joao Pedro, will be gutted not to get on the pitch for this game. Mark Guiu, of course, because he's former Barcelona, it would have been great for him to come on and just have a goal or something. But he understands how he's this rotational player. Joao Pedro will be the most frustrated not to get some minutes here. We will see Tyreek George in the Champong. But then again, he's fully rested. He'll probably start against Arsenal, Joao Pedro. Arsenal have to play tomorrow night as well, so he'll be disappointed, but he'll watch the team in front of him, and he'll be delighted for his teammates, Chelsea, but his international teammates, and Estevao, who did, he's got a great relationship with him. Andre coming on, he put the ball in the back of the net a few minutes from being on, but it was disallowed. Like so many other, but what a night. I'm absolutely made up. I'm so happy for Chelsea, for me, for all other Chelsea fans, and indeed my viewers as well. You must all be very happy. Let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, hype. Tap it with your thumb, or I don't know how you do it on other devices. But thank you. Alright, mate. Peace.